Hello. I believe that's working. So this is the antidote to the boredom that you've all been facing. Actually, it's not the antidote. This is just another hour of sheer boredom, packaged up as WP Build's weekly WordPress news. And bringing you boredom today is me, Nathan Wrigley. I've worked really hard this week to bring you the most boring things possible. No,
I believe that's working.
Yeah, I think it's working. And somebody's got their browser open.
This is just another hour of sheer boredom.
And it's making a load of noise in my ear. Who was that? Raise your hand. That's weird. Okay, I was having a load of audio feedback. I tell you what, when you do these kind of things live, one of the things that you unexpectedly get is because you check it on different tabs and then suddenly it goes live, you get the audio coming. But on this particular occasion, it wasn't me. Hello, everybody. Let's start that again. It's the WP Build weekly WordPress news. I'm Nathan Wrigley, and over there, that way, over there, is Andrew Palmer all the way. Actually, I'm going to make Andrew all big because we only get to find out where Andrew Palmer's from if we make him big. So, hi, Andrew. How you doing?
I'm good, yes. I'm from Elegant Marketplace and Page Builder Cloud and Layouts Cloud as well. But I'm broadcasting from my shed in Yorkshire.
There's a good story about that shed. Do you want to tell us? Like, it's been recently put together, hasn't it?
It has, yes. I moved in with my girlfriend. My God. And one of the conditions was that I have a log cabin in the garden for an office, so that I can self-isolate. This was before Corona. You can go and live in that shed, you little goblin.
Down to the bottom of the garden.
I've absolutely got bed hair today, and it's just because I'm living in my shed, basically.
Yeah, there's no hope of a haircut for any of us for the remaining 8 weeks or so. But thanks for joining us, Andrew. Really appreciate it. And just down there is our regular. I guess, Paul, is it fair to say you are a co-host of this, really, aren't you? There's no getting away from it.
Assistant regional manager.
Assistant regional manager. That's what it is. You are the assistant regional manager of the WP Builds weekly WordPress news. Give us your elevator pitch.
Okay, Paul here, Assistant Regional Manager of the WP Builds News Panel Podcast. Streaming today from my daughter's bedroom. That's why it's kind of pink and purple in the background.
Yeah.
And currently, I also still have a company called the Dicky Bird Studio. We'll see how we are next week in the current scenario, but it's going okay. It's not going too bad.
Okay.
And just working from home like everybody's doing, and just trying to get on with things as much as possible and enjoying the change of pace, to be honest.
Nice.
Enjoying a bit of a change in pace. So it's not all bad. I understand it is very bad for some people. Right now in this house, we've all got our health at the moment. We're enjoying taking the dog for a walk once a day and managing to get on with work as well. So far, so good.
Okay, thank you. That was a nice positive little message. Lovely stuff. And down there, I can never do this one. Down there he is Berhard Gronau, although it only says Berhard. Tell us about yourself, Berhard.
Well, everything is fine here. I'm in Austria, so everything works. And as told last time was one, we're still moving the house, so I'm quite busy working and moving stuff all alone or together with my parents, helping out each other. But it's crazy part of it because everything you have to move on yourself. So I'm getting very healthy and fit and
there are some benefits to this whole lockdown. I would say, if it's all right, just before we begin, that this is what we're doing. We're going to talk about the WordPress news for the last week. There is a little bit less than normal. I think most WordPress companies are taking some sort of hiatus or slowing things down, but we've got plenty to talk about. And I would say that this is important. If you wish to comment, please either go to wpbuilds.com/live, and you'll need to be logged into your Google account in order to make those comments. Because if you don't do that, we can't see your name. We don't know who you are. And you also can go into our Facebook group, and that's wpbuilds.com/Facebook. And again, I believe that on the Facebook comments, please go to the top of the the thread, it might even be above the video itself. There's a little StreamYard link you've got to click, and I think Facebook set this protocol up so that you couldn't set up these and spam people and so on. But if we want to see your name, you have to click on that little link and agree to allow StreamYard to know who you are. They're a pretty reputable company, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. And we have had a few little comments, so this is nice. Here's Matt Davis. Hi, Matt. He's obviously clicked that button because it says, hello, friends. Hope you haven't started wearing pants on your head in isolation yet. Day 15, and I have socks for ears. I wonder if this is a comment about, washing and not getting enough washing done. I don't know, but thank you, Matt, for joining us. Always a pleasure. Beth saying, hi. Hello, WordPress peeps. Heinrich, all the way from Ireland. Hello, all. Beth again. I guess we've all learned to use Flowbee. Oh, I don't even know what that is. Anybody want to chip in? What's Flowbee? No? Nobody
I
knows
knew what it was. I've forgotten what it was.
No,
Flowbee.
don't know. No.
Oh, no, that's Flybee.
Flybee's an airline that's gone bust.
Yeah.
So Facebook user, this is somebody, for example, who up and hasn't clicked on that link, and so we don't know who they are. Hey, keeping up the good spirits. That's nice. No, you're all right, Matt. We can see your comments. Hello, Elliot, giving us a wave.
Have you guys seen what Flowbee is yet?
No. Anybody?
Some kind of hair vacuum cleaner.
Oh, okay.
You vacuum your hair. It's like a vacuum,
great.
hair vacuum and cutter at the same time.
Oh yeah, look, here's Beth helpfully. Cut your hair with a vacuum cleaner. What, it cuts it at the same time as sucking it all away?
Yeah.
It's genius. Right. It's genius. Yeah, that's such a good idea.
Save money, save time, have fun. It's got a really amazing website as well. Awesome.
I'll tell you what. These products are going to become more and more appealing as the time goes on. We're going to be worn down. We're going to can have all these things that we want to do.
Nathan, unfortunately, though, you've been busted. They found the website that you copied the brand for, Adobe Builds. If you check out flowbee.com.
Oh, hang on. Let me just put it on the screen.
You won't believe it.
Wait a sec. Right.
So there's Adobe Builds brand.
Okay. So what is it? Flowbee.
Flowbee.com.
Flowbee.com.
.com. Yeah. So
Flowbee.com.
Non-secure. You can see where you've stolen your brand from now.
I can't see where I've stolen my brand from.
No.
It's not loading. Oh, here we go. It's
comes.
probably because the internet has just ground to it. Here it comes. It's a great.
It's because the thousands of visitors of this show are all checking.
And there we go. Error code 20.
That's a good one.
Is that really? Have we just crashed the server?
Put in a www.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Right. Try again. Flowbee.com with a W. Oh, I put one in and then it took it away. Not doing very well here, are we?
It's not, is it?
Let me try again. This is an exciting update, isn't it? This is an
Well,
exciting.
I mean, what do we do for a living, guys? We look at websites.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you what. I'll tell you what.
It's not working, is it?
I'm going to leave that there, and then if it finally comes back, we can share it a little bit later. But there we go.
It's definitely worth a look. It's definitely worth a look.
No WordPress, not our topic.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Right, I'll keep popping back to that every so often and just trying it out. But no, click refresh. We'll come back, see if it does anything. But somehow I doubt it. Right, let's get rid of that for this moment. Okay, let's have the inevitable chat. Let's have the inevitable what you did in the last week. Now, normally that would be a whole multitude of things, and you have to select. Now it's going to be probably the one thing of interest that you did during the last week. What have I done this week? I've basically my entire week has been largely taken up with learning about teaching my kids. That's really I've had to really repurpose my life because there's 3 of them. They're all different ages, and that's been a real eye opener. Just trying to sort of get them to knuckle down, trying to figure out where a good place to go for resources is. And the way that we've done it is we've got a little timetable drawn up, and we're doing like a couple of hours in the morning, have a break for lunch, a couple of hours in the afternoon, including a bit of fitness and things like that. And it's just kept me really busy. And I was saying to Paul yesterday, I reckon I did about 5 hours work last week. It's really taken a hit on my ability to work, massive hit, because my wife, she doesn't have the capacity to move things around. Her work is remote, but everybody dials into her calendar and makes her appointments, and she cannot alter that. And so I'm basically the stay-at-home dad. So that's what I've been doing this week. What about you, Andrew?
I've been doing rescue plans for customers because I'm basically a lot of my history is in the restaurant trade, and therefore I have restaurant people as customers. So we've been doing and devising and signing people up to Deliveroo who didn't have it before, and thank goodness Deliveroo. Do you know they charge restaurants 27% and more?
Wow.
So we're negotiating deals for them, saying, "Come on, we'll stick with you if you give us a great deal." So 3 restaurants I've transferred onto Deliveroo, which is quite time intensive. I mean, I've got a trade paints website as well that's blown up. That literally has, luckily we moved it from Magento to Shopify, so there's absolutely no connectivity issues. Magento's quite heavy sometimes.
Yeah, really.
It's not WordPress, Shopify, but still, we moved it, and the turnover has gone. It's basically 3,000% of what they're used to. Crazy. The hits have gone up by 5,000%.
Yeah,
and we're talking. They were getting good hits anyway, so it's blown up, and of course no staff. The guy's on his own, having to go into the warehouse, do all the packing and everything. So we've had to change banners every single day, from 3 to 5 days delivery to 3 weeks delivery to we've now got stock now. We can deliver Dulux in 7 days and all that kind of stuff. So that's been quite hectic. And also writing Corona updates for people to make sure that, and not emails, trying not to send emails, and also doing promotions for Elegant Marketplace and looking after Page Builder Cloud and all the advertising for that as well, and trying to get deals to people that are appropriate for the time, and trying to think of stuff to do. So yeah, a lot of thinking. But this is the first weekend, I think, in about 5 years that I didn't do any work at all. I just thought, I'm burnt out. I literally cannot do any more work. I haven't got any more time in the day. I mean, Thursday, I was physically at my desk for 14 hours straight and taking unbelievable amounts of phone calls. We launched 5 websites last week. My UK agency launched 5 websites and carried on looking after the other ones, did some deals. It's been crazy, positively crazy for my business, but taking on the stress, having the stressful phone calls from customers going, I might be going bust. I might, the restaurant's going, I'm not sure whether I'm going to be bust. And me thinking, well, you owe me $5,000.
Yeah.
And then thinking, that's a house, and taking that stress on and everything. So I just banned myself from doing any work on Saturday and Sunday, which was very, very unusual for me, because I normally tinker. We have a little bit of a tinker on our own websites or things like that, but mainly positive, basically positive stuff.
Oh well, I'm pleased that you're very busy. That's wonderful. I was reading a comment, I won't say where today, from a lady who kind of was thinking. She said she woke up at, I think it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and suddenly thought, I'm owed 15 grand, and so my business is, we're fine, we can get through this. And then she suddenly had the thought, I wonder if I'll get it. I wonder if that money will arrive. And then a sudden kind of panic, and we must invoice immediately. And I don't know if that's been happening an awful lot, getting the invoices out in a very much more swift manner, maybe even knocking the dates down from 2 weeks to respond to 1 week or 5 days or whatever it might be. So anyway, insights on that, Paul? Anything you want to share from this week?
Similar kind of week, probably not quite as busy as Andrew's week, to be honest, but frantic in lots of communications with clients, same as the week before. Lots of reassessing projects and timelines and plans, and some things cancelled, some things pushed forward. So yeah, very, very busy. Like Andrew, I also didn't do any work on the weekend. I was feeling pretty burnt out, and I just decided, with everything that's going on, I'm just gonna just relax on the weekend. So one of the things I did a load of stuff in the garden, and built a new double swing for the kids to play on. Well, I didn't build it. I bought it and then put it together. And then also a friend, mutual friend of all of us, Hugues Edouard, we hooked up and played PlayStation at 6 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, Call of Duty. And I've been wanting to play PlayStation for years. Pretty much as soon as I had kids, I just didn't have time for PlayStation anymore. So COVID-19 has freed up a bit of time to bring back one of my old favorite hobbies. Speaking of playing games, if you're playing one of those car racing games and you this is from a business perspective. You're going full speed down to the first kind of bend in the car game, and then you just fly over the gravel and hit the wall. But it's okay because you're in a game. You don't die. You just hit the wall, and then your car just bounces sideways, and then you start again. It's slowly. That's how business feels at the moment. It feels like I was absolutely pelting forward at such a speed, frantic all the time. Hit this wall, bit of shock, look to the side, and then just hit the accelerator again, and you're slowing down and everything. So that's how business feels at the moment. And then in terms of how I feel, I'm absolutely. It's just a period of adaptation, isn't it? So right now, I really enjoy the certain aspects of it. I do get concerned about business side of things because, same like you said, 2 weeks ago I was like, oh, it's okay, I'm owed money. Then last week I was thinking, I wonder if I'll get it. And then this week it's just tried to continue as best as I can. But as well as enjoying some of the aspects, there is just this constant feeling in the background of this is so blooming bizarre. But hopefully we all get through it in one piece mostly, and that's where I'm at the moment. So I'm looking forward to this week. I haven't got loads of phone calls this week. I've got work to do, and that's what I'm looking forward to this week. Keep me busy.
Yeah, thank you. That was a nice, honest appraisal. That was lovely. Yeah. And Berhard, tell us about the situation for you and possibly Austria as a wider thing.
Well, in Austria, I think it's going, compared to other countries, relatively smoothly because everything is on lockdown, but it's happened earlier than in other countries. But they might tighten it again because we are supposed to wear masks starting Wednesday, if I did hear it right, if you go shopping. But else is, lockdown as everywhere else. The numbers are still okay. We'll see how it goes on from there. Personally, it's IT was always a side business for me. So it's like our own homepage and small clients. So not much has changed there. Yeah, some of them call you, for example, a small hairstylist who tries to advertise that he sells his products online if you need a little bit help to set it up and stuff like that. On the other hand, the rest is going full stop because I don't know if you remember, we were selling hot chocolate, and around 99% of that goes to hotels and coffee shops and stuff like that, and that's like from 100% to zero because they are closed and nothing is sold.
Yeah.
And then I have a tenant which is closed too, and we have a law in Austria, so he won't pay any rent. It happens. You can't change anything about it. So part of the last week was spent taking care of all that financial stuff, seeing that all the credits are, I don't know the English term for it, stopped, so that you don't have to pay it. The rest we will see it in the next weeks what really happens. Especially if you have a tenant, you have to pay all the ongoing costs are still there. You get no money and you have to pay them. So but it's fine. I think people who can survive 2 weeks without any money are either very, very unhappy or very, didn't prepare themselves for, I don't know, especially if you're self-employed, you have to take care if you got sick or ill or anything happens. So I'm surprised. I mean, I know it's hard to build up or save, but I'm surprised how many people are struggling only 2 weeks into it.
Yeah, we've got a few little bits of help in the UK from the government. They've announced money for self-employed and various different parts, and they've kind of come each day with a different part of the society with a package. And I confess, I've taken this week the opportunity to kind of cull my news consumption. I've decided to, instead of going from like the habitual what's happening minute by minute, I'm now I'll have a quick look in the morning and a quick look in the afternoon and possibly, in the evening or something, quick look. And essentially, I don't really feel like the news itself has changed. The numbers of have changed, and I'm not really the only things that the numbers do is cause me concern, and I'm now at the point where I realize the numbers are going to keep going up probably for a couple of weeks, and then hopefully if we all do the right thing, they'll start to descend again. So I've kind of removed that anxiety from my life. Here's some little comments. Leo Mindle, hi Leo, saying that he's just like you, Paul, first weekend where he didn't do any work on his main business, which is quite nice. Matthew Granite, first week I did lots of COVID e-blasts. Last week I did lots of work for the DR sites that are getting into telemedicine. Okay. Hello, we are Visular. You got this, thank you. I had 2 retainers cut in half. I'm sorry to hear that, Elliot. I imagine that if we were to open the comments up to everybody, then we'd have a similar thing. I've had quite a few
I've
cuts.
lost stuff, yeah. I've lost some things have been reduced. I probably lost about £7,000 or £8,000 in upcoming work that was more or less confirmed, but is now canned for the moment. But I don't know many. There's a few people we know when you see these threads in Facebook, and it would be 95% people saying that they've got a downturn of one severity or another, and then the odd person going, "It's never been better."
Yeah,
well, I'm afraid, Paul, that I am one of those odd people.
Yeah.
And
Fantastic.
I think it's because we've got such a vast spread. We host 300 websites at my UK agency, so we have a vast client base. Really, it's small. I mean, I know lots of other agents who've got 500,000 customers, but and I regard myself as lucky. But I've been doing this. I've been in this in the business of marketing for 30 plus years. I'm blessed, for want of a better word, because I've worked so hard, and my team is great, and we're all working remotely, and I'm very lucky to have that. But in some instances, particularly with the hospitality customers, I'm not. Sean. I'm not sure that we're actually going to get paid, but we have to support them. So that's the key with the paint website. I mean, literally. We'll be going to Barbados next year. That's the phone call I got. This chap is just amazed by it all. But with Elegant Marketplace as well, we're still selling. Page Builder Cloud's still selling. People are using the systems that they've got. But one thing I want to go back to what Berhard said is about people not being prepared. I think, without getting too political on this, in fact, not political at all, but what this whole global pandemic has brought about is the fact that we live for the moment, and that includes our bank accounts and our credit cards and our debt that we have saddled ourselves with, whether we're buy-to-let or we're landlords or whatever we are. It shows that we're not ready for this kind of thing, whether it's a war, whether it's a downturn, a recession, or whatever's caused any kind of situation like where we have to take measures like this, stay home and work from home, or even not get any work. My brother's a taxi driver. It's a problem, so he's still Ubering out. He's had to sign up to Uber to get work, because he had 55 trips cancelled in 1 week. So that's an impact. If you say an average of 30 quid a trip to the airport or something, that's a massive impact on his livelihood.
Yeah.
And it means that nobody was ready for anything like this. Nobody can save that 5, 10, 15, 20,000 pounds that you need for the next 4 months, because you've got a family of 5. It's going to cost you £1,000 a week to support that family, whether you're on benefits or whether you're on home credits or whatever they call it. I'm lucky enough not to have ever had to do that, but I think my personal view is that everybody should get £2,500 for the next however, and that will sort everybody out, and there'll be no argument. Self-employed would be sorted, business directors would be sorted, and there would just be if everyone just got £2,500 a month for however long this lasts for, rather than giving people with, one of my customers has got a £300,000 gift from the government because that's how much his rates are.
Wow.
On the businesses that
yeah.
So It's indiscriminate and it's indeterminate because we don't know how long this is going to last. But £2,500 to every single person that is working out there, that would solve this issue, because that's enough to live on with more holidays. And the VAT man wrote to me and said, you don't have to pay your VAT this quarter.
That's a
he didn't write to me yet.
Brilliant for people that have got a massive VAT bill, but actually you still have to pay it in 6 months' time.
Yeah, you're not getting away from the VAT man. There's no way the tax man's going to leave you alone. That's right.
From the VAT man.
One of the nice things, again, I'm sorry to everybody who's tuned in to talk about WordPress. We've kind of gone off on a bit of a tangent, but it's it is the tangent of the day. Yeah, one of the things that I've really noticed is the shift in importance of a lot of things. So a great example to me, I can't remember who it was. It may have been one of you, I don't know, but somebody sort of saying, about a month ago, we were all talking about footballers and how great, football was and their salaries and all this kind of stuff. Now it's like, and again, forgive me if anybody watching this is a footballer, but suddenly, you know what? Footballers don't really contribute a lot. Whereas the doctors, the nurses, the school teachers, the people who are cleaning our refuse and trash away have suddenly gained an immensely important recognition, and a recognition which I've been guilty of for as much as anybody else, just sort of ignoring them as if they weren't, well, not ignoring them, but just not really having the recognition. And it suddenly the realization that actually, do you know what? This is the bedrock. This is the basis of our society. Without these people, we really are naught. And that's been really interesting for me to see people come out of the woodwork and say, you know what? We've got to protect these jobs. And I wonder if going forwards the importance will change. I hope so.
I'm very cynical about it. My girlfriend's a nurse. My ex-wife actually is a teacher, so at least I regarded them as important at the time. But I'm very concerned about my girlfriend going off to. Yeah. She's in the community now. Yeah. They stopped the community nurses seeing people. They did it all by phone, but now her community nurses, her unit of 9 of them, back on the wards as of this week, so as of tomorrow.
What an amazing commitment.
But it's scary. I'm genuinely scared for her.
Yeah.
And luckily, I have my shed. So I've got my shed. Stay away. But it's just it is a concern. But we've got to. I think after this is all over, if it is ever over, being the pessimist optimist that I am, it will be over.
One way or the other. It will be over.
Yeah, there will be an end.
It's the new normal. We're calling it the new normal. But after this, I think we need to make sure that we do look after the shopkeepers. I didn't leave my house until this morning from Friday, so the whole weekend I literally slobbed. In fact, you can see my bed hair still. But I watch TV and Netflix and whatever. I'm very lucky to have that. But I still walk to the shop, my little round to the corner of my shop, and somebody was there to serve me. And they've got to see people coming in all day. So, hats off to them, and we have to appreciate them, which we tend not to, do we? But they.
I'm going to go back and just put some comments in because a few of them have been kind of important. Where are we? Elliot's first one relating to Paul's point about the work maybe drying up. It looks like Elliot's in the same sort of situation.
Actually, can I add something to that?
Yeah, please do.
What Andrew said about how things are going quite well for his clients at the moment, that's really encouraging because the first 2 weeks in the UK for this from a business point of view was just the first week was almost denial, second week was shock, and this week over the weekend I was starting to think about, do you know what there is going to be a new norm, and some of Andrew's clients some of them are obviously in a really good position, but some of them will just be smart and be adapting quickly, and I think that every business has got to do that. This isn't like let's just camp it out and then start up again as normal, and it's encouraging to me because I think that over the next week or so, businesses everywhere will start recognizing that once they get over the denial and the shock and start adapting and moving towards online and seeing how I saw in the comments, Matthew Gronau was saying that he's been doing lots of work this week for his doctors' websites who are getting into telemedicine and that sort of thing. So it's just forced a shift. And so even though, a lot of us have had stuff cut, it could be that some of that stuff that's been cut is just out of date already. It's just that client has got to rethink things, and that they will come back, but it will be with a different idea. And when they have got that different idea, they're always going to come back to me or to Elliot or to Andrew or whoever it is that they're used to working with and who they trust to help them get through the next thing. So that's just something that came to me when Andrew was talking.
Yeah, the comments are
just
actually
some encouragement. I think really it was just encouraging to see that some people are doing quite well. And,
do you know,
that could be a trend.
I think it's really interesting as well, because if by pure accident you were involved in the commerce of something which was really something which was available to you locked down. So a great example is Andrew's paint. Yep. If you had a warehouse full of paint, who knew? 2 weeks ago you were just a normal commerce store and you were selling your regular amount of paint, and then suddenly painting your house became a real thing. I'm sure that it's 10x the amount of paint that's being applied to walls across the UK. So I don't really see that as a sort of mark of cleverness or shifting or becoming, I just see that as pure blind luck. But you're absolutely right, Paul. I do believe that people are going to have to figure this. What's most interesting to me is what the new norm is going to be like when we come out the other side. There was a comment down here about, I can't remember who wrote it. I can't even see it. Sorry, the comments are just sort of going bananas, and I can't really keep up with them. But somebody was sort of saying we seem to have all become communist. The importance of everything has sort of changed, and capitalism seems to have, ground to a halt a little bit.
Guys, you know me. The conversations I've had, I'm a capitalist communist. You know that. If that exists, I think people should earn money. I think that's great because it's actually good for you to earn money. But I also think you should look at the welfare side of it as well. If you can't earn money or you're not capable of earning money, you should be flipping well looked after. I've never ever veered from that. But you should, I'm an entrepreneur. Of course I'm a capitalist. I'd be in denial if I didn't say I was a capitalist. But I'm also all about supporting the community. What is WordPress? It's about supporting the community as much as we possibly can. And that little phrase, give a little, get a lot. And you do, the more we give, the more we get. And whether you get that in, things like this, or whether I got a sweatshirt, I supported WP and Up, I got a sweatshirt result. But I also know that people got supported by WP and Up. And I also know that I've supported people in the WordPress community, and I've been repaid tenfold emotionally, financially, whatever it is. I think you're right. I think we are becoming more socialist in the way that we are thinking, because we know now that the people that look after us, the teachers that make the next prime ministers or the presidents of the world, the nurses and the doctors and the porters and the washer-uppers and the hospitality trade who look after us massively, and we treat waitresses and waiters and chefs with disdain. I mean, I've been in the hospitality industry pretty much all my life, since I was 16. The rudeness that people are so rude to people in the hospitality industry, it's just crazy. From McDonald's right up to Michelin star restaurants, customers are the rudest people in the world. It's crazy. And I think now that that's all been taken away, you can't even get a McDonald's now. People are going to start appreciating what they've actually got, and that's part of the human childminders, taxi drivers. My brother's a taxi driver. Sean, you're absolutely right. So as people in our own business, WordPress, and building websites and getting people online, we have a duty of care now to make sure it's done properly.
Yeah, I think the biggest struggle for me, trying to gaze into the crystal ball, is that I really don't have any. It's almost like I've got a jigsaw, and I've just thrown all the pieces in the air, and they're still on the way up, and I'm just waiting for them to land before I can start sorting them. And I don't even know where they're going to land. I feel so much is going to be different. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I really do think it's going to be quite seismic. I'm sure we'll still all have food on the table, and we'll all, there'll be commerce, and money will be the medium of exchange and all of that kind of stuff. But I do wonder if the balance will change. But I'm just interested to see the physical, as much as anything else, landscape when it all finishes. And what I mean is, walking down the high street, how many of those bricks and mortar stores are going to pull through this? How many of those travel agents are going to pull through this? And what the knock-on effect for society as a whole is. An example is, there's somebody that we know as a family who they work in the travel industry, and I feel that, like, the travel industry, if there's one that's been decimated, it feels like that's the one. Feels like that's the hardest hit, and I cannot see how that's going to come back.
It was decimated in 1998, 2008. All the recessions. The travel industry was the first one to go.
Do you think people are going to be?
Even in my youth, Freddie Laker going bust. Nobody ever thought Freddie Laker.
Yeah, you could be right. I just wonder if people are going to be a little bit more reluctant to book a holiday for the next 18 months, just in case this thing somehow gets back into society and comes out again. And also, just the fear of being trapped abroad and the rapidity with which it all happens. And I don't know. I was plucking that out of thin air. I mean that about any industry.
Yeah, but I mean, I think mankind as whole is very flexible and very adaptive, and we will have new ideas how to do stuff. They will have new ideas how to earn money and new ideas what to sell and how to sell. It might be a shift in going more home working and working from home and home office, because it works for many now, and many have to do it, and many are not prepared for it because they got their laptop from their employer or all the other stuff. So I don't think it will be disruptive at all. I mean, it will change things. And then 2008, everything went back to normal. 2-3 years later, people have forgotten about it. Or 9/11, the only thing that's left is you can't take your drinks onto the airplane. Everything else is more or less gone. So I think you have to put it in perspective. Yes, it's new. Yes, it's very, very strange and feels weird sometimes because nobody's on the streets. And it will take at least 2 months. Take a look at China. They're starting now, and get some picture from there. Streets are full again, people going to their work. So some will lose, some will win. Especially, I think, in Europe or Central Europe, we're lucky because we have a government which tries to support their people. I think it could be far worse in other areas of the world, like India.
I think what I was trying to say there is not that there's a dire pessimistic view that nothing's going to be normal. It's what I was trying to say, but failing, I think, was that I feel I just don't know which bits are going to be really hit hard and which bits are going to be more resilient. So it feels to me like digital. So there's a comment here. I forget, I can't see it anymore. Somebody just, oh dear, so many things going on. So surely digital will accelerate. I feel it will. That feels like a real solid bet. But other things like travel, that's the first one that keeps coming out of my head. That feels like it's going to be difficult. Apparently Sean says that Amazon have hired over 100,000 new people as everybody's forced. You couldn't make it up, could you? Did you see Jeff Bezos made $3.5 billion because he sold his shares in February and they tanked, and so he's made them back again. Anyway, fascinating. So there's definitely opportunity, because there always is. What I was trying to say was I just don't know what the opportunity is, right? I just don't know. And I'm quite cautious by nature, so I'm not the kind of person to go out on a limb and think, okay, I'm going to really go at this whilst this virus is going on, so that when we all come out the other side, I'll be doing something cutting edge and remarkable. Anybody else? Sorry, I feel that we've.
Well, I think the opportunities will be there for us to actually make a difference. I think it's people like us on the web, bloggers, people that want to make a change. I've been asking for a change for years and years in people's attitudes towards other people. And, from I want food banks to go for a start. I think they're a necessary evil. I want them to go. I want people to feel comfortable about talking to each other in in a group. We're not allowed in groups anymore. There's only 2 people, one-on-one. I want people to be able to be assured that they are going to have a roof over their head, and they're going to be able to get food on the table in normal circumstances, not just the basics, bread and jam or bread and butter or whatever. But I just want this. We've also got to be aware that people are out there dying. It's not a very great subject, this, for whatever, but it's just people are out there dying. We've got to make sure that this kind of thing is limited as much as we possibly can in the future. And one of the things that happened to me on Sunday night is, and I don't normally give way to overwhelm, but I was standing in my kitchen making a coffee and thinking, this is weird. I've never experienced anything like this at all. We're young enough not to have been in a war, so we've not experienced what rationing is like or what any kind of restrictions on our freedoms are like. And the absolute helplessness that the calls that I'm receiving from my customers of how can we help? How can you help me? I need your help. And I'm just as powerless as anybody else. Yes, I can update their website or help them put together a bit of copy for their newsletters or whatever it may be. But I'm not, I can't help them. I can't help their mental health. I've got people not, ringing me up at literally 4 o'clock in the morning going, what are we going to do? So I want that not to happen again because of a crisis that hits the globe. And this is a global crisis. We can't deny this. And we've got to make sure that everybody is looked after just a little bit better, I think.
Yeah.
I've finally located flowbee.com.
Paul sent me a link, I know.
Paul sent me that.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you're right. That is suspicious. Yeah,
Someone's stolen the brand from somewhere else, and I know that, if that site, I have to admit, looks like it was done first.
Okay, it's a confession
You've been
time.
busted, dude. You've been busted.
Right,
You can see I'm not a proponent of the product itself, but wow, what a deep thing. Right, so okay, at the fear of this being nothing to do with WordPress, with about 9 minutes to spare, do we want to even bother to go to the WordPress news? Shall I put it on the screen and we'll have a quick
put it
look?
on the screen. We should go into the
okay,
word.
let's just do a couple of things. All right, so I won't do my normal spiel. Let's just go straight to the post itself, which is here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys, just for the sake of brevity this week, because we've used up most of our time. What about I just reel off what I have to say about a couple of these, and you just interrupt me as and when. Is that all right? Do you mind? Do we do it that way? It's a bit quirky.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the WordPress Gutenberg 7.8 is coming around. They've got this block patterns API, the patterns API, which is quite nice. You can sort of like group things together. That's all there is to say about that. By tomorrow, you should have a nice shiny new version of WordPress 5.4 will come around. Quite a few nice little changes under the hood, but nothing dramatic if you've been listening to this news. Lots of posts in here about exactly what we've just been talking about, fear over your business. This is quite an interesting one. I'll just open this one. This is a friend of the podcast, Mike Killen, has produced this piece, which is a nice way of combating what we've just been talking about. Mike's taken the position that this is going to happen, right? You are going to possibly lose some customers. What are some clever, thoughtful ways to push back, essentially? And because time is short, I won't really go into it. But there is Mike's take on that. It's there's no opt-in. You just get his email templates for getting back in touch with your clients and sort of saying, look, have a think about this and get back in touch with me. But it's quite a nice post. Yoast have got a free course.
There's one from Christina Romero as well.
Okay, thank you.
Have I said that right? Christina Romero.
Christina Romero, yeah.
Yeah, of actually Mike and Christina are both ex-Drupal Elevation coaches, aren't they?
Yeah.
I saw that posted in the admin bar, and she's got a kind of free course of some sort for, again, care plan retention. So it's probably best to check them both out, because we all want those care plans to. And so I think it's also, I imagine both of them are going into some detail about adding value and making the care plans more relevant, because I think moving forward, all of our products need to be more relevant to the new norm, whatever that is.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, because a lot of us have been persuaded that care plans were the way forwards, and of course, who knew that this was going to happen? And maybe you've got a significant amount of your eggs in the care plan basket, and suddenly that doesn't look as attractive as it did 6 months ago. Right,
I just need to interject there. They are still relevant. Years ago, do you remember when if you remember the 2008 recession, which I do, I was in printing at the time, so it hit us particularly hard. Channel 4 did an advertising campaign that said during this period of time, the worst thing to do is not advertise. So I use that kind of persuasion tactic. I've had phone calls, I've got to cancel my care plan. I said, well, that effectively you're cancelling your website. You're locking the door to your business, because if it does go crash, bang, wallop, it's going to cost you £1,000 to get it fixed, rather than the £95 a month that you're paying for us to maintain it.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point.
And I'm not. That sounds quite aggressive, but when you got 300 people on care plans, you kind of go, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That is the phone call I'm getting in it, and honestly, Wednesday through Friday, my phone was red hot. It was crazy. But anyway, carry on.
No,
I think Nathan was probably saying that they are relevant anyway. I think it's almost like when suddenly this happens, a lot of us who've got care plans are like, might lose a few, but wow, thank God I've got a few care plan clients and stuff, because it's, and also at their end, they're thinking, thank God I've got someone to call, who I can take a few favors from, maybe, so, I imagine, I've helped out a few people at the moment who they're using way more than the half an hour or the hour that they're supposed to have a month, but it's fine. I'm just, I'm the person to help them at this time to get through that. So I think my care plans are great.
Yeah, my point was more that if it's become a really significant part of your income, let's say it was like 99% of it, then it could have been an interesting discussion to have, and you'd want to hold on to them as much as possible. So Mike's piece is good, but also there's Paul. He's posting the link to. There's no way of clicking on that link, sadly, but it'll be in the the comments to Christina Romero's version of the same thing. Okay, let me put the screen back on. What else have we got? Not a lot there. Plugins. Was there anything significant? Oh yeah, okay. Let's mention a couple of these. Backup Body has added a couple of extra destinations for their support. Sorry, for their Backup Body plugin. I think S3 and a couple of others have been added in Dropbox API version 3, I think it is. Beaver Builder have got a 2.4 alpha with a couple of new things. I know Paul's been involved in that. Oh, sorry, Paul, you've been sort of like totally squashed off the page, haven't you? Let me get rid of that comment.
That's great. Every time there's a comment and we're in this view, I get
look, there we go. Yeah. But look how cool that is. It's your own face overlaying your own face. Let's make it Beth's face. There we go. So yeah, Beaver Builder 2.4 alpha, a couple of nice new features in there, and yeah, really great. Also, the assistant, Beaver Builder's assistant, has got a bit of an update as well, and the hub. You can try WPM UDev's hub, which has got a bit of an update as well. You may be in the market for deals. WordPress hosting, Flyway is 50% off at the moment with that offer code. And these are all on AppSumo. Load of security patches. We did a podcast. A few jobs if you're into these. Gravity Forms have got a content marketer job. WordFence need a UX person. And Lifter LMS need a remote support worker.
And if you want to work with one of the sorry, I'm going to interrupt there. If you want to work with one of the most, with just one of the coolest guys in WordPress, basically, if you want to work with Chris. I mean,
Lifter. Chris Badger. Oh, he's great.
Just so cool.
And he's...
never-ending machine of knowledge and teaching and giving. He's giving away a lot of stuff at the moment. He's giving away a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He did a video, a YouTube live webinar, I think, of how to build a learning site in 62 minutes.
Nice, that is good.
And that was pretty cool. Are you going to mention what you've been doing?
I'll come to that in a minute. Yeah. But I think the most important thing for this week, though, is this. This is something we should all take notice of. This is Makeway on Kickstarter. It's a marble run for adults. Now, honestly,
it's genius. I've seen it. It's genius.
Watch this. just, look at it go.
It's
so cool.
Mankind, it seems.
Look how happy the guy is as well. He's
You
really
just
happy.
sorry, I can't hear you because the Makeway audio is going on in my head. But it's like this marble run. It's magnetic. You just attach it to your fridge or anything metal in your house, and it's got all of these little components, all of these like cogs and wheels and bits that fire it off into the distance. And look at it. Oh, imagine. Look at this. Their goal was $8,079. The reality, 1.437 million. Yeah. Just there you go. People are bored. They want something to do, but it's Kickstarter, so it'll probably never arrive. Don't bother.
Well, you got to get it delivered. You know, we forgot about post people and delivery people in our shout out.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
still getting stuff delivered.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Anyway, I just thought that was such a nice little project.
Doesn't matter, Kickstarter you won't see in the next 6 months. So
yeah, well, exactly.
Everything will be fine.
That was the other thing I was thinking. Google, I think this number's now wrong. 340 million. I believe they're now offering more in the region of 800 million in free ads. So basically, if you've got something where Google Ads could support you, go and click on that link. I think it goes to Search Engine Journal website. This is interesting. Do you know what? Of all the articles I wanted to mention this week, this is the most interesting one because I think this is going to be, no matter what kind of COVID crisis we're in, this one's going to be affecting us for the foreseeable future. Safari have decided they're going to block all third-party cookies. So this could be interesting because going forward, who knows what the landscape will look like. So, but they've got this clever little API. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's linked to down here. What's it called? I've got an API. Oh, here we go. The Storage Access API. So things like Facebook seem to have become immune to this because if you're already logged into something, this Storage Access API knows that you're logged into it, and so it knows that you have a relationship with that third party. So an example would be Facebook. So it allows Facebook to use third-party cookies because it knows that you know Facebook. But if you don't have a relationship with some service, so think of just about anything, including Google Analytics, if you're not logged into Google necessarily, that's all gone. That's going to be gone in Safari. Now, obviously, Safari's not a big player. Chrome's the big player. And I can't see Google turning this on or, using this feature. But it could be an interesting beginning of the end for cookies. I know that quite a few things that Apple brings to the market or gets rid of in the market, they go. Remember when Apple said we're not going to use Flash, and everybody thought that's interesting, and then it kind of slowly died. Probably because Apple said die.
Good move. A good move.
Exactly. And so this could be a move. Maybe this will promote Safari use as opposed to Chrome use. We'll see. Anyway, that was the.
Yeah, one thing about that, Nathan, it just makes you think. That all marketing starts moving to digital, and then as that happens, all our abilities to do anything intelligent with marketing and digital start getting taken away.
Yeah.
Will we post COVID-19 basically be back to posters and leaflets?
That's interesting, eh?
I remember actually David Wormsley was genuinely doing a poster campaign, wasn't he, in a train station?
Yeah, he never did it in the end. No, it never happened.
He was really serious about it. Yeah.
He started selling cookies instead.
Yeah.
It's time for me to get back into print.
Yeah, definitely. But you know what? It's interesting because we sort of see this as the way it was always intended to be. Cookies were never meant for this. Cookies were just about states. They were just about being logged in, and then ingenious people kind of figured out ingenious ways of doing things. And now, of course,
doing a similar thing. Like
say again, Berhard.
Firefox does a thing for Facebook, for example. It's a little add-on where it encapsulates Facebook to not go out of that Facebook tab.
Wow.
They are advertising it strongly on their landing page. I don't know, or the first time you start the update, you say, activate this, and you get this just like how do you call it? Like in a prison symbol besides the Facebook symbol. So it's like a
railed gate.
Yeah. It's like a sandbox,
Doesn't this then say that Safari and Firefox and all these other browsers and DuckDuckGo and everything that are stopping you being advertised to are basically going against Google and Facebook and whoever uses these systems to finance themselves and saying, right, we're not going to allow you to earn anything out of our users.
Yes.
Yep.
So I wonder how Mr. Zuckerberg feels about that. So
he's probably quite annoyed, but he's one of the few people.
And all those.
Yeah, but one of the few people that Mark Zuckerberg can go and bash over the head is Tim Cook. It's totally the other way around. You know, Mark Zuckerberg can walk up to just about anybody and get them to do whatever they want from a business point of view, but Tim Cook is one that he cannot. It's totally the other way around, I reckon.
But still,
what does Apple care?
Paid.
Yeah,
but no, I'm not sure because, for example, Google still pays them to be their top search engine.
They do.
The default.
It's a lot of money.
It's like intertwined all of the stuff. I mean, Apple is for sure in the position to say, okay, then you don't pay me, we have enough. But it's not that easy. And I mean, advertising is important. On the other hand, it's privacy. Far more for us European-minded people than for some others in the world. But I think it is important. Not now, but you don't know. Government changes and look at China, like control everywhere because you can be tracked. They know everything about you.
Yeah, and the thing I would say about all this stuff is that although we've got to the point where we are now, nobody saw it coming. Nobody allowed it to happen. Nobody suggested that the amount of tracking that we've got is a good idea. In fact, I imagine that if you lined up 1,000 people and properly explained in a way that was understandable to those random 1,000 people, if you explained the amount of tracking that was going on and how it was being used and where it was being deployed and in what, I reckon 999 of them would say, I don't want that.
Tesco knew. Tesco were the first to use tracking.
Is that right?
D and B or whatever it was. It was the Tesco card, right? The Tesco loyalty card.
Oh, like the little what you've bought card. Yeah.
That was the first form of tracking in the UK because they knew what you bought, they knew when you bought it, they knew how much you paid for your shopping. You knew how often you bought it, etc. So that was all. It was all about data. It's always been about big data, and they then put that all together, and that's where tracking came from. So people did know.
And you know what's interesting though? It's a bit of a double-edged sword, though, isn't it? Because here we are using the might of Facebook's platform to leverage this thing for free. You know, we're enabling. You know, if Facebook's tracking went away, their advertising would go away. So free services like this would probably, be as impoverished compared. Although, having said that, I've noticed this week. Have you noticed that Facebook is probably under strain? I've noticed that things loading significantly slower on Facebook compared to other properties. So Google is as normal, BBC as normal. I'm often having to wait like a minute for a Facebook page to load.
Wow.
Not in Austria.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. No,
back to Apple and Safari. The thing I think that Apple are always interested is to protect their customers from their data being shared. So what I imagine they're probably up to is, like I heard someone say that the only reason that Apple have support Apple Maps or whatever it's called, I don't even know what it's called because I use Android.
It's Apple Maps, yeah.
Apple
Maps is so that Google can't track where their customers are. And then I think the same goes with us being techie people. We know we can use Firefox, we know we can use DuckDuckGo, but I think that Apple are not a data company. So you look at these top companies in the world, it's Facebook, Amazon, Google, and Apple's up there, and they're a product company. They're still a product company, and they always will be, probably. They're never a data company. So I think that the Apple platform, if you buy an Apple Mac or something like that, it means that you don't need to use Chrome. You can use our system, and the big companies, Google and Facebook, when you use a Mac, will not be following you. You'll be safe with our device, sort of thing. And I imagine that's the kind of direction they might be going. Having heard that quote about the only reason they keep Apple Maps going at a complete loss is purely to protect their customers from Google Maps.
Yes, that's an interesting point. It's a debate which will go on forever. But I did think it was interesting that they've enabled this this support to block these kind of third-party APIs. I do apologize for not keeping up with the comments. I realize there have been absolutely loads of comments. But maybe just before we finish, I'll share a few of those. But Andrew Palmer was mentioning this. I set up, I don't know if anybody wants to become involved in this, but I set up a website this week with Michelle Frichette. Michelle and I have decided to launch this project called Good News Show. And essentially, I'm just fed up of the bad news. I'm absolutely weary of it. And so set up this website, set up a Facebook group. Oh, look, and there's a subscribe form. And basically, we're just going to post like pretty trivial. I don't suppose any of it's going to be earth-shattering, but it's just like good news. So one of the good pieces of news is this bloke. Did you see this? Bloke in Sidcup in the United Kingdom ran around his garden 876 times because he wanted to complete a marathon to raise money for charity, and he's on lockdown. So he did it because he obviously can't do the real thing. He was supposed to do something in the Sahara. And then we had various other bits. Michelle wrote a little piece about the fact that in her local town, the teachers were missing the pupils and vice versa. So in a park, they arranged all the kids in cars on one side of the street and then all the teachers on the other side. And then they just drove past each other and waved. So nice, isn't it? So nice, just little bits of good news. The URL for this is goodnews.show. And we do have a Facebook group if you want to join that. It's facebook.com/ I can never remember how this goes. It's /groups/ I'm hoping it's Good News Show. I'm pretty sure that's what I set up. Good News Show. So Facebook, of course, I've got to log in. Anyway, facebook.com/ groups/ Good News Show. And come and join us. Just share a bit of good news for a change. Because, we could... Let's be honest, we could all do with a bit of that at the moment. And if you want to share some of your good news, in other words, if there's some things that you want us to put on that website, just go to this bit here. It's /share and fill out the form, and we'll see what we can do. So just stick it on the website and try to cheer each other up. Right. Shall I try and keep up with the comments?
So I will do a shameless
loads of comments.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to let Berhard go first. Go, Berhard.
Yeah, because... as always, I have to talk about pods shortly because we had an update this week. Yeah, I have to. I can't help myself. We integrated Freemius to enable in the future plugins which are friends only. Because funding was cut, so we have to get others incoming. And that's the first step, and they're working on stuff for a little bit different advanced database storage, for people who are using that, and other stuff will be coming. So it's not everything settled, but we're working on it. And so we had to update most of our plugins, and you now get the screen where you see all the installed pods add-ons, or which one you might not be aware that there are, like for Gravity Forms or for an alternate cache and stuff like that. So yeah, we're working on it.
I like it.
It's an example of a company, right, that was going like this, then something happened and made their income severely less.
That was automatic,
they had a wobble, and then they are now doing things differently and moving forward again. So I think that's just in our human nature to bounce back. I think especially all the business owners, they're entrepreneurs. For the most part, if they get knocked down, they'll want to get back up again.
It's Chumbawamba.
It is.
It's just Chumbawamba.
Did you say you've added a premium version, Berhard? I missed a bit there.
That is it, yeah.
Not really.
Sort of.
Pods is still open source. Pods will always be open source, but there might be some add-ons which will come in the future, which might only be available to people who donated. There might be a lifetime amount you have to be donated, or an ongoing value you have to donate. That's not everything settled, but it's like a little incentive for people who donate to get something in return.
Cool.
Or you might get earlier access to the plugins, so it's or a mix of it. So Freemius enables us to do that because they, as far as I'm aware, have made it free for pods to use their service. So a big thanks over there. And it's a work in progress as always. Some of it will only be available after 2.8 is released, which we hope to get out sometime. No
Well,
dirty air,
just to let you know, Berhard, is that on Elegant Marketplace we sell freemius products. So we've got an integration code. So if you want to go on there and it's a free plugin and people want to donate, I'm not going to charge you anything commission-wise for that. So, the market that you can increase is great because we can integrate with freemius straight away. So it's just, that's not a selling thing. That's just, I think that Pods needs all the support it can get. So that's an offer that I can make to you today.
Yeah, I will forward that offer to Scott, and we'll see where it leads from there.
Right, so it doesn't cost anything to either say yes or no, so it doesn't matter. But, we integrate fully with Freemius. So Vova did us a favor and gave us the code, and we can now use the Freemius checkout on Elegant Marketplace, which is really cool.
I feel that this week the comments have gone so berserk that there's probably people talking in the comments with one another.
They're talking about marbles now.
Oh, you see what happens when you show marbles to people.
They're not listening to us at all. We're basically
they've had enough.
I can't see the comments.
Look, Leo's already bought it. I mean, I presume he already had bought it. I'll tell you what, there's another one, and I can't remember what it was, but I think it might be on Indiegogo or something, but it's a bit like this marble run. Basically, there's this tray of sand, and there's an arm underneath it with a magnet on it, and it moves around. It's like got an ARM processor. It's probably a Raspberry Pi or something, and it moves the marble in the sand, and it's beautiful what it leaves behind. It's like Zen. You know what they do with Zen, and they try to make it. But with this, it's perfect because it's not like a human with little aberrations. This leaves these perfect geometrical shapes in the sand. It's sublime. It's the kind of thing that you look at and scoff and go, what a stupid idea. And then you watch it and you realize that half an hour's gone by and it's like, whoa, I just entered the twilight zone.
You're the type of person that gets tracked on TikTok.
I don't know what that means.
No.
I have no idea what that sentence means. What is TikTok, the social network thing? No. I just stare at marbles. I'm like a cat with a ball of wool.
Nothing for you.
Right. Okay. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Where did we get to? That's nice, Matthew.
Had a great one.
I'll come to that one, Bernard, in a minute. Matthew saying he's glad that he's got annual care plans. Yeah, that must be reassuring. Most of mine are monthly retainers, so that's a good thing. I like that. Here we go. Matt Davis. Marbles are basically the best sport available right now.
I used to have some marbles.
Yeah, we've learned how to flick with your thumb.
Yeah.
I've lost them now, though.
I knew. Just waiting for that. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Matt again. What? Highly recommended. Gel's Marble Run on YouTube. Okay. Gel. Go and search for that on YouTube. You see, everybody likes marbles. Wow. Think how much ad revenues Google is losing. I'm sorry, I can't give that its context that it deserves. You're speaking of Safari. Elliot's enabled it, and he's gone and looked at the dev tools, and he likes them.
Oh yeah, dev tools in Safari are something else.
Yeah. Have you tried Firefox Developer Edition?
Firefox.
Quite like that.
And Firefox. I mean, and yes, you've got the spec element in Chrome and stuff, but if you as devs, we should take advantage of these things.
Yeah, you're right.
Troubleshooting.
There's a ton more comments. I do apologise, I haven't got to them, but you've presumably been having a bit of back and forth amongst yourselves. But this has been a really nice episode. I do apologise, we went right off the subject, but maybe that's what this is all about. Maybe that's the future of this thing, is just a natter about the current state of the world. So before we go, very briefly, anything that's happening to you this week that you think is worthy of mention, Andrew?
Well, I do, and it's kind of promotional, but kind of not. I mean, that we got bought by InMotion and Web Ventures, but so did W3 Total Cash. So I beat them up on pricing. So you can get 10 Pro users, 10 Pro licenses annually for $250. Now that would normally cost you about $1,000 annually. They're doing an offer at the moment of $500. I basically said, not good enough. So we're doing it for $250. So there's a blog post on Elegant Marketplace, and if you're in our newsletter, you'll get that. So I think that's a fantastic deal.
Yeah,
Tried it, knocked 4 seconds off one of my sites in a heartbeat, took it down to half a second. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. It's like
I never recommend
stalwart.
anything, and I never ever recommend anything that I haven't used and continue to use. So there you go.
Paul?
That's it.
Like last week, I created the first YouTube video that I'd done in probably over a year. I was just feeling a bit burnt out, like Andrew said, and I just thought, I'm just going to stop work now and just do something different. I just discovered how to make some really super nice row shapes, kind of swooshy shapes in Beaver Builder, using a kind of trick, and I just wanted to share that. And that. So if you go to YouTube and search for Beaver Builder row shapes, you'll see some crap above it from some guy called David Wormsley about row shapes. I don't know who he is, and then mine's second at the moment in the search. Obviously, David Wormsley is my friend, and I'm just joking.
I don't really like him. I've known him for years now, and he's a bit of a pest.
You're always arguing with him on the podcast these days, aren't you?
Bit of a pest, yeah. It's just so objectionable. He's so unreasonable all the time. I like him quite a lot. Berhard, what about you? Berhard, can I ask next week, would you be able to remove those 2 black things that you've obviously put in your room? Duh.
I don't. I was wondering why they are there.
I just assumed you've got big bits of black cardboard.
No. I'm not sure if it's the setting of the tool or.
Yeah, you're not in 1080. You're
it's the aspect ratio. It's the aspect ratio.
4:3.
Yeah, that's I'm sure, but I don't know where it comes from.
Honestly, I was being facetious. I do apologise. I'll tell you, I in my little Facebook group. I'm going somewhere with this. The good news group that I just mentioned, Dave Foy posted something about some good news, and it was really lovely. He basically bought some blue paint, and he started to paint his room, and it had run out, and it kind of looked a bit like your black wall there. It's kind of suddenly the paint ran out, but he said it's nice because it makes him laugh, because he's just he's got this half blue wall and it's just totally unfinished. To which a little comment thread opened up, because I then posted what I did last week. My paint, I had 2 tins of grey paint, which I just needed to fix a tiny blemish on the bathroom wall. So I cracked open the grey paint, thought that's a bit dark. It'll probably now I've got to repaint the whole blooming bathroom because I picked up the wrong grey, and there's now a grey spot. To which I think it was Matthew. It might have been Matthew Granite. It was somebody anyway. Showed what happened yesterday when they kicked their tin of paint over on their nice carpets. Anyway, there you go. Berhard, sorry, what's happening to you this week?
Not much besides what we talked in the starting and moving houses. So quite doing like mounting electrical stuff and carrying around stuff. And trying to get people to really work, because it's not easy, because especially in the part of Austria is close to Hungary, and they close the borders at certain times, and then it wasn't sure if workers from over there are allowed to pass over, and if they come back, have to go to quarantine or not, so that you don't get all the workers for all the businesses here. Some of them don't want to work because it's understandable. You might get infected because you don't know, and if people keeping a distance, and then the things which used to be easy, like, we're missing this one part. It should have arrived today, but it isn't. It was funny. We had the whole kitchen, but we had no sink. So
nightmare.
But you deal with it, and now everything works, and they all in the end it worked out. But it's and we're lucky because we started all that stuff before the crisis, so we got lucky. We have been 2 weeks later. I don't know. Well, we have the old flat has a new tenant, and you have to move, and
What a nightmare! What a nightmare! I read a story the other day about somebody local to me who basically the day before all of this happened, her builder got sick. The day after he pulled her bathroom to pieces. So he took out the sink, took out the toilet, took out the bath itself, and was in the kitchen as well, and had taken all of that out. Then he got sick and was off for like a few days. And of course, then the lockdown happened. And this lady that I was reading about has got this tiny little kitchen sink. That's her entire supply of water at the moment. So it's a sad little tale. Paul, you've been invaded, or rather, you have invaded. And
yeah, I'm invading someone else's room. My son was just in the background. He was just a little head you could see sticking to this. Yeah,
that was nice.
This side of thing. And then my wife just brought me a nice cup of coffee. So that's cool.
Yeah, we need more of that.
With everything that Berhard's got planned this week, if by any chance he was supposed to be working on the pods project, he's been busted.
I know. Look. Have you seen Scott?
Is there?
Scott here is like, what? Get back
I'm just
to work.
doing the advertising. Most of the work is done by people like Scott Kingsley-Clark, which does all that work on pods for free because he's the main guy. He's the main developer. Yeah. I think he got some hours from Modern Tribe to work on it. But the rest is the work from others. I have to do some work on the Beaver Builder integration, but I hope this can happen the next weeks. Let's see. Everything is moved, so.
Scott said that he's going to come on the show as well as a panelist.
Yeah, we should have Scott and Berhard on the same week. That'd be quite an episode, wouldn't it? It'd be a nice episode. Welcome, Scott. Nice to. Is Scott Australian, Berhard? Is Scott Australian?
I think no, he's American. As far as I know.
I do apologise. I for some reason had him in my head. I had Scott. I've never talked to him or spoken to him, so I for some reason had him as an Australian.
I think we should do an WP builds again about pods and maybe join you.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. Oh, there you go. Look,
it's been quite a long.
Texas.
Almost Australian. Very nearly. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Well, very nice to have you, Scott. Let's hope we can get you on and put you on the podcast. That's lovely. Right. What am I doing this week? I am just hanging out with my kids, doing more indoor entertainment for my kids, trying to educate them in a way that, frankly, a cushion could do better. But there you go. I'm just gonna keep it going. Thanks very much for anybody that joined us. I do appreciate it. Thank you to Andrew Palmer. Thank you to Paul Lacey. Thank you to Berhard Gronau. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the massive amount of comments that have come in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the lovely meeting, Beth. That's really nice. Right, if you guys want to just hang fire, I'm going to mute your mics and then turn the screen off. But we'll have a chat when this is all over. So bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.